Now, what about rocket launches? What's out to launch this month? Chris, what do you got for
Oh,
us?
yeah. As always, there are updates, things going on. Let's catch up on what's going on in the world of space launches. Starting off with something we talked about last month and the mission that we're really excited about, the very first mission to the Trojan asteroids way out by Jupiter, the Lucy mission. Now, Lucy did launch successfully on October 16th. However, there has been a little bit of a snag. Literally, as a matter of fact. The mission has solar panels, big ones. They're 24 feet across. They're circular, and they open very much like a fan that sweeps out into a complete circle. However, the trick is that one of the two did not fully extend and latch. Now, it's mostly deployed, between 75 and 95% deployed. It probably is okay. They may just leave this exactly the way it is. It will generate enough power. The mission can proceed. NASA mid-month is going to have a meeting and see if they want to try to command the thing to deploy again and see if it does latch this time. My suspicion is they'll probably leave it the way it is. The solar panels are critical for providing power. The reason they're so large, right now, they're providing more power than the spacecraft needs by far. But remember, it's going to be going far from the sun, 5 times farther than we are, where sunlight's 25 times fainter. So they really do need to have a good supply of power, and the big solar panels can do that. So anyway, this looks like it's not a serious problem with the mission, but I just wanted to give you an update on that. Looks like it's okay. We'll find out more after the middle of the month. Um, I mentioned last month that the Shenzhou 13 mission of Chinese taikonauts to the Chinese space station, their new space station, was going to launch at some point in October. They did launch on October 15th successfully. They docked with the Tiangong space station, and they are on board now and beginning a 180-day stay on the space station. Space mission that we are launching over here to the International Space Station, NASA mission, using the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft has been delayed a couple of times. One time for weather reasons, not at the Cape either, by the way, downrange, the places they'd have to splash down in an emergency if there was a problem with the rocket, they had bad weather. Heavy waves at sea, things like that. So they delayed for a bit. They also delayed for a little bit because of an unspecified but not serious medical issue involving one of the astronauts. They didn't say which, they kept it private. But that's apparently been resolved. They've rescheduled now for November 9th. And so we're anticipating this mission will launch on November 9. Talking about delays and things like that, we've talked about the Boeing Starliner spacecraft, not the SpaceX Dragon, the other one built by another company to provide commercial transportation to Earth orbit for NASA. The Boeing Starliner has had troubles. They had a unpiloted first test flight that did not go very well. There were glitches and problems. They were getting ready to launch another unpiloted test flight, and they had problems on the launch pad with some stuck valves. They ended up having to send the spacecraft back to the factory, and they're working on resolving the problem. In the meantime, because there are going to be delays, a couple of NASA astronauts, Nicole Mann and Josh Casada, who had been scheduled to be on the first 2 piloted test flights of the Starliner, they've been reassigned to the mission SpaceX Crew 5. We're about to launch Crew 3. This is Crew 5. Both of them will be on that, flying a different spacecraft. So kind of interesting. But that's the latest on the world of Starliner. We'll see when it flies. We've mentioned the JWST telescope we're all waiting so much on. It did indeed arrive October 12th down in South America. It is being prepped for launch now. They're performing last-minute checks. Toward the end of this month, they'll be fueling the spacecraft and putting it on top of its Ariane 5 launching rocket. We are planning on December 18 as the liftoff date on this critical mission. We'll be talking about this next month on All Space Considered. All eyes will be on this launch of this incredibly important mission. We have a launch coming up a little sooner, November 23rd here in California. A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket will be launching from Vandenberg Air Force Base here in California. The DART mission, the double asteroid redirection test mission, a first test of an idea for asteroid defense if one happened to be coming our way. This one is not. They're just verifying a way to deflect an asteroid, change its path by striking it with the spacecraft. It's going to fly right into a moon of an asteroid and try to change its path a little bit. This is a crucial mission. It's going to launch on the 23rd of November. The actual impact with the asteroid, just about 11 months away in October of 2022. Other things going on down in Boca Chica, Texas, the Starship program for the giant two-stage rocket that Elon Musk and SpaceX are designing. They have been making steady progress, both with the first stage, the booster. You can see that there with the crane over the top of it. Booster 4 is undergoing tests. They may do a static fire on the ground, testing the engines while it's bolted to the ground. And then also they have done a static fire on Ship 20, the upper stage. That's the one with the pointy top. And you can see an inset picture there of one of the static fires they started doing in the last weeks of October. Elon Musk has said that he thinks the system might be ready to try an almost orbital mission around, like 3/4 the way around the world to test the system. Nobody on board. This is unpiloted. As he could go as early as even this month or next month, something like that. But we're waiting for approval from the Federal Aviation Administration that looks after the safety questions on these launches. This is a gigantic rocket, as large as the Saturn V moon rocket, and launching it so close to Brownsville, Texas, well, they do want to make sure all of the safety issues are addressed. That's being looked at. We don't know exactly when the test will be cleared, but of course, we'll keep you informed. Lastly, speaking of Saturn V and moonshots and moon rockets, something maybe we haven't talked about in a little while, the Space Launch System, or SLS rocket, huge rocket being developed for NASA. It's been developed for many, many years. It's been well over budget and behind schedule, but now in the vehicle assembly building at the Kennedy Space Center, the booster has been stacked. All the parts have been put together, and the Orion spacecraft has been put on top. They're readying it for the first test flight of the Artemis program. The Artemis program is aimed at getting astronauts back onto the surface of the moon. It's a huge deal. Now, this mission, Artemis 1, will not carry a crew. It's unpiloted, but it will be launching all the way to the moon, orbiting the moon, even going considerably beyond the moon. This will be very exciting stuff, but I wanted to let you know it's getting closer now. It's being tested now in the vehicle assembly building, aiming towards a launch, hopefully in February, mid-February or so. But so there's plenty of exciting stuff going on in the world of space, to put it mildly, Dr. Reitzel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as always, folks that want to see a launch, that one from Vandenberg, if it's like tonight, there might be too much marine layer to be able to see it from Los Angeles. But if you're there and you can get up the coast, up to Lompoc, there's nothing quite like seeing a launch in person. And those Falcon 9 engines, when they rumble, they really make almost a crackling noise. It's insane, the kind of crackle of those engines, the fact you see it going into the sky and then the sound hits you. It's really pretty special. One of these days we ought to get a Griffith Observatory Foundation group to go up there and see one of these launches, get our members to go up there and check out a launch with us. Would be really, really pretty fun.
That's great. Well, this one's going to be a little bit later at night, just so you know. Sometime, if we get lucky, they launch them right after sunset. So the rocket goes up into the sunset and you see it there. This will be late enough. We won't see that, but you are right. If you're close to Vandenberg up there, you will actually see the flames from the engines. It'd be a spectacular thing to see.
Yeah, it'd be very, very spectacular.